Hello. What's up, everyone? You're listening to the Skeleton Key Podcast. I'm your host, Kagan, and joined by me, as always, is
Keegan.
And joined with us yet again is my brother, Tay. Tay, how you doing?
Good, are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. A lot better than I was in the morning before yesterday. A lot better. Tay, how'd the fights go this past weekend, actually?
They were good.
They were good? Who won everything?
You wouldn't know any of them.
I know, just like I said last week, just for the audience, in case anyone does watch UFC.
Patty Bella won.
And
Jordan Levin teabagged.
Was that the one in London?
Yes.
Okay, that was the one in London. Yeah, no, I should have watched that one actually. I didn't know. I thought it was because it's London time, so I didn't know what time it was on. It was different, obviously. I had no idea.
I took a 6-hour nap on accident.
You did sleep all day. You did. Hey, I slept in past noon, so everyone was sitting. These guys were fucked up. I didn't make it to brunch, which is almost unheard of for me.
Yeah,
that was weird. It's good to be back this week. We're talking Carl Panzram part 3.
God, hopefully this is the last one.
This is the last one. I thought about trying to stretch it out and do a part 4, but I just, I did. But I kind of, I'm a little sick of talking about it at this point. I did text Keith and I was like, we're not doing it after your episode next week, because next week that is. It's something I forgot to say. Keith is doing it on next week's episode. He will be playing host, and the roles are going to be reversed here. But after his next week about a murder, I was like, no more murder for at least a week or two. It's been a month of it already, and I'm going to be burnt out.
We should do the new book that you got.
Which
it's
one?
Like the Midwest or that Orleans was in.
That was really weird. Honestly, I just ordered a random book because I found it, and I just looked up like true crime, like in the Midwest books. I was trying to find more stories that you guys like to hear, kind of core in the heartland. And I bought that book. It's really good. I love it. It's a really good book. It's got 20 stories in it. But the first story that I picked, the first page I read was fucking Orleans, Indiana, like 1910. It was just really fucking weird. And
at least we made it on the map on something, I guess.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
it may be a murder, but
two cops got shot. But yeah, it was for murder. But no, yeah. So something about that will be coming here real soon. That's gonna get worked up. But like I said, this week we're talking Carl Panzram part 3. I'm ready to fucking get this shit over with, because this episode honestly is the worst one out of 3 of them.
a little getting sodomized a little.
This is now a sodomy podcast, Keith. This is now a sodomy podcast.
Stretched it.
We stretched it out
too far.
Yeah, stretch is a really bad word used for what we're talking about right now. But anyways, so we last left Carl. He was the Oregon State Penitentiary. So Carl arrived at the Oregon State Penitentiary in 1914, and since he had been fucked over in his sentencing deal, needless to say, he was a bit cranky, because if you remember, he was promised a light sentence, and then he was given 7 years, and then he destroyed his old jail he was in.
He burnt it, right?
Yeah, he burnt the fuck out of it. So trying to cause as much anarchy and chaos as he could, Carl convinced a fellow con to make a break for it during their work detail, and the warden himself, a man named Harry Minto, gave chase. So the warden picked up his gun and ran after the motherfucker. But before the night was over, though, Warden Minto would be dead, having been killed with his own rifle, as Carl's friend had somehow gotten the jump on him. So the warden ran after him, and he ran after him in the woods. There was a bit of a struggle, and basically Carl's friend shot the warden and killed him. He was at the work camp that day. I don't know if he was just making rounds.
So how the hell did he get out?
It was like I said, it was during work detail, probably like on like the rock farm or I don't know what they were doing.
Just ran.
And he somehow, he made a break for it, and he got away, and then the warden was there. He grabbed his rifle and ran after him, and he just got his gun away from him and shot him and killed him. But he didn't make it though. The warden died, but like the guards found him, and they just shot him like 85 times. Like they riddled him with bullets.
Nowadays, wouldn't they just drop a prisoner that they ran?
Yeah. Oh no, they would have dropped him back there. But I guess like the guards weren't like around, or like he had like a brief window where he could make a break for it. He was just far enough. I don't know what he did exactly, but he somehow got away. They would have shot him. They would have just fucking shot him in the head.
Yeah.
So things got even rougher for Carl when the new warden that was hired happened to be John Minto, the brother of Harry Minto, who had just been killed by Carl's friend, and he quickly aimed in on Carl as the punching bag.
Yeah,
so
he has it real rough. Yeah.
So they hired. So the warden John Minto, I think it was John. Yeah, John Minto got shot, Harry Minto. And then they hired his brother John Minto, and it's like I think you think he's going to be a little angry that his brother got killed there. Yeah, so he just started treating the prisoners even fucking worse. And Carl, because what happened was he'd go like, hey, who's the toughest, meanest piece of shit in here? And they'll be like, Carl Panzram. It's like, who's Carl Panzram? Let me learn more about this guy. Oh, he was best friends with the guy that killed my brother. Okay, fuck this guy. That's what happened.
Wait, is this the guy that treated him like shit?
This is the one that treated him even worse, yeah. Yeah, this is the one that treated him even worse. But yeah, no, there was them, and there were some tortures that I didn't include in here. Like there was one called the Hummingbird.
Too bad they didn't do the ear thing that Chris said.
Yeah, we watched The Gray Man last night. Hey, that movie's fucking sick. You need to watch
It's
it.
badass.
I'll fell asleep or lost interest after
I don't know
some guy
how
got
he
his
fell asleep.
fingernails pulled. He got his fingernails pulled off. Yeah, he literally goes, "Oh, I can't watch it." The guy got 2 fingernails pulled off, and then like he just turned his head and went to sleep. Yeah, and it was an awesome fucking movie. It was fucking great.
That was my favorite movies that I've watched this year
Yep,
so far.
one of them. Yeah, but anyways, let's get back to Oregon State. So this meant nothing to Carl though, as he would raise hell in a multitude of ways. On one occasion, Carl broke into the prison supply closet and stole a few dozen bottles of lemon extract, which was alcoholic. After getting the other boys nice and violently drunk, but staying sober himself, Carl would incite a riot, forcing the drunken cons into a large fist fight with the guards, while he snuck off and set several fires and several of the prison's buildings on fire.
God.
Unlike his successful arson jobs prior, though, Carl was caught this time. He was beaten until he was unconscious and then sent to the hole for 61 days. And after words were given, after that, the old fire hose was given as punishment.
Cool.
You guys know what the fire hose is?
I do, but
yeah, no, I was telling Keith. Anyways, that particular fire time, he also caused over $100,000 worth of damage that time too, because he just got everyone drunk to fight, and then he just stayed sober himself and snuck off, and then just tried and set a bunch of buildings on fire. He didn't burn them all down. I don't know how much It never says there's no pictures or anything. It never shows or says how much, but I imagine. It was well over $100,000 in damage. That's in 15, which is probably almost $1 million, I would imagine now. But so yeah, he was after the hole, and after 61 days of solitary confinement in bread and water, he was given the fire hose. You want to take a rough guess what the fire hose is?
I'm not, just because I know what it is.
Yeah, Keith and I had to talk about. I gave him a rough outline of what some of the stuff was. So after stripping him naked and cuffing him with his back facing the wall and his hands outstretched, so you'd be handcuffed sitting on the ground with your hands cuffed into the wall, so you were kind of just stuck in an Indian position on the ground.
So he was flat?
Flat, yeah, with your back against the wall, and you were just kind of sit there. The prisoner would be sprayed with a fire hose at a distance of 15 feet for 3 intervals, ranging from the first being 2 minutes, then 3 minutes, and then 5 minutes. So it's a total of 10 minutes. Carl said that this would result in being half blind and the body being black and blue all over from bruising, and his privates being, quote, as big as a jackass's.
Everybody knows what the fire hose is.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Well,
rainbow.
yeah. Dude, they did fucking hose it off, and that was in 1985.
It is rainbow.
Or 1980. Yeah, but no, yeah, they hosed the fuck out of him, and it was a regular, it was a regulation fire hose from a fire department, and you stood back about 15 feet, sprayed for 2 minutes, given a break, sprayed for 3 minutes, give another break, and then sprayed for 5 minutes. So it's 10 minutes altogether.
5 minutes of getting blasted by that shit?
10 minutes altogether. 10 minutes in total. Yeah, 10 minutes. So thankfully, Warden Mento's vengeful reign of terror came to an end when officials from the prison board held an investigation and fired Mento and several members of his staff for the extreme torture that they were giving to the prisoners, and brought in a new man named Warden Murphy, who had a much different idea of prison reform.
This guy is a hard ass. Such a hard ass.
Warden Murphy?
Yeah, this
guy. Keith, we talked about it. Warden Murphy had a lot of faith in being kind to prisoners, to an extent where it got him fired in the end. We're going to see how. And it wasn't necessarily Carl's fault, but he was the main reason that Murphy got fired. So, like I said, his heart was in the right place, but his idea of punishment was kindness reform, so give positive reinforcement with punishment. So Warden Murphy took an interest to Carl right away, but Murphy's kind approach to reform was seen as weak to Carl, who tried to escape with greater intensity after Warden Murphy made it illegal to beat the prisoners if they tried to escape. So his thing was the worst punishment, and this is the baseline of punishment for a prisoner. They were to be given, and this is under Murphy's law, they were to be given a warm bed, 3 meals a day, two hours of exercise a day, and at least 8 hours of sleep.
These guys have them better than most
That's
people.
That's Warden Murphy's like main punishment right now. Yeah, because they were getting fire hose and getting the fucking the red heifer like a week prior, and this guy comes in, he's like this. All right, that's all gone now, and there's like this is something like he's lying, right? Because they don't trust anyone. Anyways. He made it, like I said, he made it illegal to beat the prisoners for escaping, so Carl started trying to escape even more. You know, because like used to he would escape and then he'd get the shit knocked out of him for like 2 hours, and then he wouldn't want to escape for like a week because he had to heal up. Well, he started trying to escape like every night because Warden Murphy made it illegal to hurt him. So after Murphy called Panzram into his office one day, Carl told him that he was the worst. Oh wait, where was I at again? I'll cut this out. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah. So after Murphy called Panzram into the office one day, Carl told Murphy that he was the worst low-life degenerate that had ever set foot within the walls of the prison. A pit bull who would raise hell with any guard or con who came at him, and that he would never stop escaping until he obtained his freedom. And after an unsuccessful escape attempt, Murphy punished Carl by sending him magazines to his cell for him to read.
That's a hard-ass punishment.
That's some serious punishment right there. Yeah, some serious punishment. And I don't think Carl can even read the magazines that well. So that's the funniest part.
Imagine if he was like a warden nowadays, he'd probably be able to play like PlayStation and shit.
Oh God! If fucking Warden Murphy was here right now, you guys would be playing live with cons. So then one day Murphy called Carl into his office and offered him the deal of a lifetime. And this is where I say he gets a little irresponsible. Murphy told Carl that if he gave him his word that if he would try not to escape and that he would be back for supper that evening, then the next day the gates of the prison would be open for him and Carl would be free to go wherever he wanted to for the entire day. It's the deal of a lifetime for a prison.
And out of all of them, Carl Panzram?
Really? Out of every single one in that prison, he literally picked like the raping arson fire machine.
Probably the worst guy in the prison.
Arguably he's one of them. I mean, at least he's getting there. He hasn't done like any like of his murders yet, but he's still burned shit. Yeah, I mean he's one of them.
Raped the shit ton of hobos.
That too. Yeah, a lot of hobos. So the next morning, Carl was led to the front of the prison, and true to his word, the gates of the prison were open, and Carl could do whatever he wanted. And this is what Carl wrote. Old boy Spud was as good as his word. He opened the gates and I was free to go any damn place I wanted to. I just stood there dumbfounded and was so surprised that I couldn't understand, and I didn't try to escape at all. I just walked around a little bit trying to see if any screws were watching me, but I didn't see any, so I sat down and just tried to dope out what it was all about.
I'd be in shock too, going from a warden that beat the hell out of you all the time.
That's what it is. It's a version of shock. He's like his whole life he's been just abused by including his parents, and then he's just sitting there going like, just why is this guy letting me do this, and why is he trusting me? Like I don't like radiate goodness. I don't understand why he's trusting me. That's what's happening. So thankfully Carl did not try to escape and was back at prison that night, which led to Carl being Murphy's favorite prisoner.
Carl's favorite.
His favorite, yeah. Keith, you remember in the outline how this ends. Yeah, you know what's coming up. Yeah. You know what's coming up. Tay, this next part's hilarious. So the prison reform didn't end there, though. Pretty soon, Murphy started a baseball team and a band league for the prisoners. But Carl said he never learned how to play baseball, and he was too dumb to play music. So Carl was put in charge of holding the flag and became the band's drum major. And every weekend, the 20 baseball players and 40 band members would travel to other prisoners playing other inmates. It's like the rough script for The Longest Yard.
This is all tell if he was in prison. Going around playing baseball.
Going around playing baseball, yeah, with a bunch of fucking like just ex-cons. Just cons, yeah. But no, that's funny. I was just like, what is the fucking Longest Yard?
Imagine playing with like Ted Bundy or something. You just see him.
Oh, seriously, dude. Carl Panzram like literally like led like the people in the band like carrying a flag. Like he was that guy like that giant hat that was like going out front doing this and shit. That was what Panzram did. That was what Carl Panzram did. So things were going good for Carl in prison for the first time in his life. For the next 8 months, he would go about his normal business at prison during the day, but was free to roam the streets in town at night, working as a prison trustee for Murphy. Carl would be found nightly at the many bars in the surrounding area, getting drunk with the female nurses who frequented them. So he's just getting drunk this is literally insane. He's just getting drunk with nurses at nighttime, and then going back to the prison and just like fucking working out and like sleeping like and reading, and it's the best time to be a prisoner.
So you get fed.
get fed well. Yeah, 3 heavy meals a day. Yeah, like it's working. But what's up?
So so the women were safe, obviously, because he had no interest in women, right?
No. I do like how this is. Remember I pointed that out to you, like when we were going over this. It's like the stereotypical, like when like someone who's gay will like hang out with like a bunch of chicks, and but then like you never do anything with them, obviously. But like that he doesn't say that's why he's hanging out with them. Remember because he said that he's hanging out with women because the one time he did get drunk with girls, they robbed him and gave him gonorrhea. That's why he stopped hanging out with women. But it's really because he's gay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean he liked drinking and like talking shit with women. Like he liked girl talk in a weird way. He liked girl talking with women, but he would never like do anything with it because he was gay.
He was just a gay best friend. Pretty much.
That's literally what Carl Panzram was. He was a gay best friend. But things were not meant to last though. But one night, Carl said that something was different in the air, and after hearing the whistle of a nearby train, he couldn't help himself and he made a break for the station. There, Carl hopped a train and burglarized a nearby house, making off with a new suit, some cash, and a handgun. And then he hopped a train again. He was, however, caught several days later, and after a shootout with police, Carl was arrested, retried, and brought back in shame to face Warden Murphy. But this really, this really was the first time.
You didn't tell me that part at Mother Bears.
Yeah, no, this was the first time he actually felt ashamed. He said he would rather be shot dead than have to come back and like look Warden Murphy in the eye. Because I don't know what it was about it, but he was like, this is the first time someone ever treated me with respect. It was ever nice to me, and I couldn't help but be a piece of shit, and I fucked up, and I ran when I was drunk. Yeah, that's what happened. He was just so embarrassed. He was just so embarrassed when he came back. But I want to say that when it comes down to it, the reason he ran is because he hates getting told what to do. Like literally, even though he was free to go out, at nighttime for the whole night, as long as he came back. He could get drunk at nighttime and come back. He just couldn't drink at the prison. He could get drunk every night. He had good food, plenty of exercise. He was free to do it everyone. He got to leave the prison at nighttime. That's insane. But but that's the problem. He didn't like that he had to go back to the prison during the day. That's when it comes down to it. He just doesn't like being told what to do.
When he got let out, there was like no guards at all, right?
No, he wasn't being followed or anything. It's
crazy.
He was not.
You'd think they'd like have someone telling him to make sure something that didn't happen.
No, they didn't. He just straight up. The Murphy was like, if I show him that I trust him, he will hopefully
stay,
like not fuck up. Yeah. And it worked for 8 months. But like I said, Carl just couldn't do it for another I forget how many couple of years.
Did he sodomize anyone in that prison or jail?
No, I'm sure it happened. Yeah, and he didn't specify, but I'm sure
they were all the prisoners probably scared of him too.
Oh yeah. Every single prison he went to, he was immediately placed at the top of the food chain. Immediately, every prison. Oh, word spread. Every single prison he went to, as soon as he stepped foot in it, everyone immediately became afraid of him. Word traveled. Yeah. And plus, he'd been to so many prisons. His reputation was always still there from when he last left it. When he came back,
my ass cheeks would be clenched walking around prison.
I would just never leave myself. I would never leave myself if he was around in my prison. I wouldn't. So with 14 years left to serve, Carl decided that it wasn't worth it. And after using a hacksaw and a bar spreader, he was able to break free from his cell window and made a successful escape, never again to walk the halls of Oregon State Penitentiary. So Warden Murphy was fired after this Carl experiment. So he was kind of seen as a failure after this. Again, I like his view of don't punish because it worked for a time. Because like Carl said, it doesn't do anything good, give people the hose or give them the red heifer, it just makes them worse. And Murphy's thing did work for a little bit, but I think it would have worked better if it wasn't on someone like Panzram, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I think if he just would have had a different prisoner, it would have been a success. But Carl he just can't help himself. So now we move on to one of my favorite parts of the story, the Redneck Yacht Club.
Redneck Yacht Club.
When that song, when you ask me to play, I'm like, that's funny because part of this is named after that. So after escaping from prison, Carl made his way to New York, where he got a job with the Oilers and Water Tenders Union before hopping on a boat to Talamanca, where he was soon fired for fighting his employees and his boss. But in retaliation, Carl burnt down one of the company's oil wells, but was long gone before anyone knew it was him. It didn't say like how much or like how big it was, but they offered it was like a $5,000 or a $10,000 reward for his capture, or for whoever did it. So I would imagine it was probably a lot of money.
Yeah, I can While you're
Probably.
talking, I can look it up. What year was it again?
It was in like this was in like 1918 or 1919. Yeah, so a lot of money.
All right, and it is worth $196,232 today.
It's still probably quite a bit of money like out there. Well, because like I said, this is the part where we start getting like a lot of his worldly travels. Because if you think, because the reason he was able to go around the world so much is because this was a time where like we were developing. You know, like we were building the railroads over in Africa like right now. Like they had just started really, because you know we were able to ship off out the ocean on boats to be able to bring all the material and all the wood and all the steel and all the metal. So like all these American like workers were like, hey, go out here and help work in these developing countries and help build infrastructure, help build railroads, help build like dock communities for like ships that come in, those kinds of things. So that's why he's able to, because he gets jobs working for like American oil companies overseas. Basically, is what he's doing. That's how he ended up in Talamanaka and the Congo. So after Carl robbed an entire ship full of people, he was arrested and sentenced to a short stint in Glasgow, Scotland. And after serving his time, Carl went on a robbery spree in Europe. I won't get into the info on this mofo, but what he saw around the world, because he makes it better. So he went so many places around Europe. I didn't even bother to write them all down, but he went everywhere.
He's definitely like sodomized every ethnicity in the world.
He's sodomized in every fucking continent. I think that was damn near his mission, was to like fucking have sodomy in every continent. No, so anyways, he robbed through Europe, and then he made his way back to the States. Carl landed in New Haven, Connecticut, where he robbed the home of ex-president Mr. William Howard Taft.
I still don't understand how they let him break in an ex-president's house, but
it didn't. So he was either not home, or it was one of Taft's vacation houses. That's what it sounded like. It was one of Taft's vacation houses. What's up? Okay. It sounded like it was one of his vacation houses. But so yeah, he wasn't there though. But like, it was also really fucking hilarious because like from the way that like it's Carl's talked about it in the letters, it's like when he got like the bond money, like the money bonds, and he saw that it was Howard Taft's name on it, he was just like, oh shit, this is Taft's house? Like he didn't know it was his house. He just like saw like the biggest, nicest looking house he did and thought like, oh, I'll go rob it.
But I guess back then they didn't have like security systems or anything, so you could just bust in.
Oh yeah. What's the security system going to be? A fucking like string underneath the door attached to a dog's tail? Like what do you like?
Or a fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't have fucking like bee.
All right, good.
Okay, yeah. So so we're in July of 1920. So Carl made off with a haul of over $40,000 worth of jewelry and bonds, in a Colt .45 revolver. And with that money, Carl bought his first yacht, the Akista.
God.
It's yacht time,
I wish I
boys.
could go around robbing people and get a yacht.
Yacht time. Yep. Well, because $40,000 in jewelry and bonds. I told Keith it was like $580,000.
I'm assuming it goes in.
Yeah. So 1920. This is 1920.
I wonder what a yacht looked like in 1920.
Oh, you can look it up. I looked it up. It looks like what you kind of might think it looks like. A lot of them were steam powered. I think his was a steam yacht.
Steamboat?
Yeah, no, really, yeah. This is 1920, man. They didn't have like the kind of shit we have now.
Oh shit.
But no, yeah. So there's a reason he buys yachts, though. It's part of a plan. So Carl's plan was to go to shore and find sailors, preferably in groups of two, that were looking for a job on his boat. He would offer them fake stories of easy work and lots of cash, and the sailors, who were none the wiser, thought that they had struck gold and would follow Carl out to the dock and they would head out to his boat. So once out far enough, Carl would get the sailors so drunk that they would pass out, and after committing sodomy on them, he would blow their brains out using the handgun he'd stolen from Taft. Carl would then load the bodies into a smaller boat, and once they were far enough out, he would chain a large rock to each corpse and then watch as their cold, lifeless bodies sank down into the depths of the ocean, never to be seen again.
You know something crazy? Is that like getting caught every time you rob, but you successfully rob the ex-president?
It is infuriating how he literally does. He did this to 10 men. He did this to 10 sailors on board, and he had to stop because he was doing it so fast that the people on the dock started asking questions as to why he kept hiring guys, and then every 2 days he tried to hire more, and then none of his guys were coming back. That's what happened. He stole. Yeah, because he would have them bring, because he had 5 living quarters on the boat. So he'd be like, hey, bring everything you own, all your possessions. You'll live here on the boat, and you'll work for me. Well, he would just, so he had a boatload of shit that he'd stolen from these people, all their valuables, all their cash, clothes, everything they owned. But no, yeah, he straight up gets, like I said, at the very end, the last thing that gets him in jail is because he stole a radio from a dentist's house, and then he gets caught crawling out the window, and that's how he gets put in prison for the last time. But he kills 10 sailors like this and robbed at the next president's house, and no one knew it was him.
Yeah, how did they say how many sailors he?
10 men. Yeah,
10?
10 men. Yeah, he killed 10 men like that.
Dude, was his dick not raw?
No. His dick had like Kevlar. It was covered in Kevlar at this point.
It's just like calloused.
Horribly calloused. Yeah, horribly calloused. So this is Africa. So Carl then got a job with the Sinclair Oil Company, and after boarding a steamship, made his way to the Congo. And while there, he purchased an 11-year-old girl for $8 under the guise that she was a virgin.
God.
Carl felt that he had been swindled since the girl did not appear to be a virgin. So after returning her parents gave Carl their 8-year-old daughter instead. But Carl said that he didn't think that she was a virgin either, so he gave up and attempted to find a boy.
How did he decide whether they're virgins?
Didn't say.
It's just like the thing where you can just look at someone and tell they're a piece of shit, and he just looked at someone and could tell they're a virgin.
I don't want to think about how they know they're virgins. I want to say that the way Carl wrote about this in his journal made it sound like he was trying to prove like how straight he was and how he wasn't gay. The way he talked about it, he was trying to prove how not gay he was. And I'm just going like this. That's not how you do it, man.
Purchasing an 11-year-old?
Yeah, or an 8-year-old, yeah. It's like this. It's like that. It's like, man, it's like, look how straight I'm not. It's like, oh my god.
They just have child molested.
Yeah. But like I said, he did. Like I said, he always tries to find a boy. But I do want to say, like, you guys seen those pictures, those old-timey pictures of like parents like selling their children? Like, you ever seen them, like those black and white photos of like kids for sale out front of like their house by their parents? No shit. Back in this time, it was not uncommon for, and not even like there, like even in America, people would just, if it was the depressed, people would just sell their kids. I'm not kidding. They would just sell them. Like, you see, like, I know a famous picture of like a woman who's crying in the background, and she has like 500 kids outside for sale because she just couldn't afford to take care of them, and she was hoping to get a better life. What?
This is literally like mine.
What?
The kid buying and shit.
Oh yeah.
It's like a woman, Carl Panzram.
Wow, I can't wait to hear Keith's episode next week. It sounds like there's a lot of
it's
like
so
intersections.
similar.
Yeah, it does sound very similar. But no, yeah, it was a time people used to sell their fucking kids for money.
And mine was like in the 1890s, so it was around then too. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is in 1920. Carl was born in 1891. Carl very well could have his mom could have sold him to someone. But anyways, so Carl would find an 11-year-old boy while sitting in a park in Luanda one day. And after leading the unnamed boy to a gravel pit at the oil company where he worked, the Sinclair Oil Company, Panzram sodomized him and afterwards bashed his head in with a rock before leaving the body to rot. In Carl's words, with brain matter still leaking from his ears. It's Carl's words, straight up, no one is safe. He literally will go after anything he can, but he chooses the weakest. Like because he will go after other men like his size or bigger. He will. But he will go after what is easier for him to get. And he was like, well, I want a boy, so he just goes after a boy. He'll go after anything he can. It just, to me, this is where you can see like we can kind of like categorize them into a category of serial killers in a way. Like you can start to see how like some killers like BTK and Albert Fish go for the weak. They go for like what they can easily control, or they sneak up on you. Well, he goes for what he can easily control. He will go for bigger people, but if he can, he'll go for what he can easily get his hands on, which is an 11 or 12-year-old boy. Sadly. Yep. So, he's just one of those guys that preys on the weak, because it's easy. So, after purchasing a boat ticket to Libido Bay in hopes of doing some crocodile hunting, Carl arrived and hired a six-man canoe team to lead him up the river. So once the men were far enough down the river, Carl shot all 6 of them before taking whatever valuables they were carrying and dumping their corpses into the croc-infested water before paddling back to the village. So he killed 6 men like that. And again, 5 confirmed murders. 5 that we could know of in the States. Like these this is just him saying. We don't know. You know, it's like the boy murders and like overseas. We don't know. So
I'm assuming most people probably believe him though.
I don't see why you would, because what does he have to gain from bragging about these? What does he have to gain from bragging about these? You know?
Yeah.
He doesn't have anything to gain. It's not like it makes him like the cool guy on the block. You know what I mean? So yeah.
He might think it makes him the cool guy on the block.
Oh, he thinks he's the cock of the walk, Keith. Literally. It's like I said, it's just mainly the deaths overseas that we can't confirm, but probably did it. Especially in Africa and crocodile-infested waters. Like, you know, you're never gonna fucking see those bodies ever again. They're gone. They're gone. So after traveling and stowing away on ships going to and from places like London and Portugal, Carl made his way to New York in July of 1922. He then made his way to Salem, Massachusetts, where he abducted and sodomized an unnamed 12-year-old boy before again beating him with a rock and leaving his body in the woods. I just wonder what he says to these kids to get him to come with him. You know what I mean? Because
candy.
He has to offer him something, or like kids were just more trusting back then. Because you've seen the picture of this guy. I mean, like he looks like a person I would never like go on a walk with, ever, unless I had like 6 people. Unless like I had like you guys with all like had guns aimed on him with us. He looks like he will bash your head with a rock.
He's kind of handsome for the time though too.
His mugshot, yeah, guys. So I'll post it, or I think I already have posted. But if you guys want to, look at his Wikipedia page, his mugshot. He's 24 years old in it, and he does look kind of handsome. He looks ruggedly handsome.
I wasn't gonna expect that.
He's 24 years old. He looks older though, but he's like ruggedly handsome in that.
I figured he'd have like a Gacy look or something.
Nope. Looks like a guy that I hate to say it. Honestly, you wouldn't think he would do any of these things. He just, he really doesn't. So, anyways, what'd you say, Tay?
His fucking hair.
Tay, okay, yeah, he's always on the run. He's constantly on the run. Your hair's gonna be messy and
Sticking much hair to be messy. Yeah.
Sticking your head out the train, the boxcar window. You know your hair's gotta blow. It's gotta. It's his stressful life. He did die at 36 or 39. So using his extensive knowledge on yachts, Panzram then got a job as a detailer and cleaner at a yacht club in Providence, Rhode Island. Can you imagine a yacht club hiring this guy? Before stealing a yacht and sailing it to New York, where he painted it and attempted to sell the boat for a quick buck. So
Did he ever have a yacht?
See, I forgot to put that out there. He was actually like in a gunfight with some people, and he crashed his yacht and had to swim back to shore.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Who did he get in a gunfight with?
I don't know. Some people. I think he tried robbing another boat.
Oh, and there
were more people than he thought there were on it. Yeah, and his boat crashed and it sank, and he like fucking swam back to shore.
Oh, that was a kick in the dick.
He was sad. He was sad. He was sad when he lost the Akista. So, yeah, he gets a job. But this is ironic as fuck. Yeah, this is ironic. So, after taking a potential buyer out to sea, Carl was surprised when the man tried to rob him on the boat.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Carl, however, was much faster though, and after pulling his revolver, quickly shot the man several times before taking his wallet and watch and kicking the body overboard with a heavy piece of iron attached to its leg. Yeah, look at the guy. This is one of the funniest parts because that guy had no idea what he was up against in that boat. He thought it was just some like stupid, because Carl painted himself as like just some like idiot millionaire just trying to make some money or whatever, or just some guy with money. And the guy was probably like, this will be easy. Meanwhile, it's a hardened fucking fighting con who like will literally like kill you in half a second.
And
he didn't sodomize. No, he just shot him. He didn't sodomize this guy. At least he didn't say he did. He never does like any like sodomizing after death. Yeah, he never does any necrophilia.
I mean, I guess it's a plus.
I guess it is. I mean, if you consider that Ted Bundy was a fucking sick necrophiliac, then yeah, I guess if Bundy did it, I don't think he did. I don't think so. But yeah, no, that guy literally did not know he was up against in that boat when he tried robbing him.
Like I think Panzram made AIDS instead of the monkey. Like he was.
Or he was immune to it. He might have been immune to it.
Like if I had to, what'd you say? What you talked about before, like a blood type or something?
There's like the fucking deficiency, like where you like have like the I forget, like was it the chromosomes or whatever that makes you like not like where you can't be sterile and then you can't have, and you're immune to like AIDS and herpes and all that. Yeah, people have it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, anyways, after robbing his way all the way down to Nyack, New York. Never heard of that place. Carl was arrested for, these are the charges he was arrested for. Carl was arrested for sodomy, burglary, robbery, and escape.
No murder?
No murder, no, because he hasn't been caught for murders yet. That's the best part. It's the best part of this whole thing. Yeah, sodomy, robbery, burglary. I guess the burglary and robbery are different. But anyways, so the police took him and all of his stolen loot in the yacht. They took it to Yonkers, New York. Never a man to go down easily, though. Panzram actually beat the case by hiring a very good lawyer and very expensive lawyer in exchange for the yacht, for Carl's yacht, as payment. So he's like, he hired a guy, because like I said, it was like $600,000, the yacht was. He was like, hey, he hired the most expensive lawyer you could find. He's like, if you get me out of this, I'll just give you the boat. Yeah, that's what he did. Yeah, it's straight up. The lawyer took this genius. The lawyer took a massive L though, and was very upset to find that the boat was stolen when he tried to register it. Remember, because he'd stolen it from the yacht club. And he had to hang his head in defeat as the original owner came down to get the boat. And I don't know why you thought that was Carl's. Like, the only way a guy like him could get a yacht is if he did steal it.
I was going to say, yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's in prison for robbery, burglary.
Robbery, burglary, sodomy, and escape. And that's like, the only way a guy like him could get the yacht is if he did steal it and kill the person that had it before him.
I feel like it doesn't take a genius to think of.
He purchased his first yacht with stolen money from an ex-president. And then that's...
Bald Panzram kind of...
Rough handsome. He looks like a Marine. Bald Panzram, show tape that one. He looks like a Marine. I'm pretty sure that's one of the ones I posted. But no, yeah, so, he just... I don't know why that lawyer thought that was his. Can you just imagine, like, when you register, it's like, oh, it's stolen. It's like, okay, well, that guy's already moved 3 states over, probably out of the country, and he's changed his name 3 different times, so we'll never see him again. That's what happened. So, having cleared the charges, Carl made his way back to New Haven, Connecticut, where he sodomized another boy, this time using the boy's own belt to kill him, wrapping around his neck before leaving the body in the nearby bushes. Again, just keeps beating cases and sodomizing and killing kids. It's so frustrating that they just can't get him. So now we get to Dannemora and the end. So soon after Carl was arrested for robbing a mailing office and sentenced to 5 years in Dannemora prison, where a failed escape attempt would nearly cripple Carl for the rest of his life. Again, sodomized and killed a kid, gets arrested for robbing a post office. It's always stupid robbing. It's always dumb robbing.
Very dumb.
It really is always the stupid shit. Because like I said, he stole a gun that he used to kill like 16 people from an $40K from an ex-president. And then he gets caught for, like I said, stealing a radio or a kid's bike, or he got like 120 days for stealing a kid's bike, and then he gets escaped after 3 days. It's just so stupid how he just gets
He really did make himself the best at sodomizing.
He worked hard at it. Oh, don't worry. There's more sodomy to come.
Wait, so did the people come forward and like claim he sodomized them or something? He got arrested for it?
No, he wrote all this stuff in his letters. But
shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But people would. I'm sure there was someone that was like, yeah, that happened. I got fucking. Or because I imagine all the prisoners were probably complaining, but the guards didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So, anyways, one night Carl broke from his cell and attempted to break free from the high walls that surrounded the prison. And after nearly making it to the top, the rope he was using broke, and Carl fell 30 feet down before landing on the hard concrete below.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Yep. When he was brought back in, Carl had broken both of his legs, his ankles, while also fracturing his spine and rupturing a testicle. That's hey, I'm just here to report, dude. I'm reporting. That's what he put down. I'm just saying.
I bet he was begging to die then.
Oh no, he gets taken care of, and then that's what gets him thrown. That leads to him getting solitary. You'll see. So this was bad. This was bad because they didn't cast or anything. They didn't put a cast on it. They didn't set any of the bones. So he didn't really see a doctor. They really just kind of threw him back in his cell and told him to put up with it for about 6 months. They didn't nothing. They didn't cast or they didn't do anything. No splints or whatever.
I bet his X-rays looked they'd look whack as hell.
Oh yeah. Oh well, they had X-rays now this time, Keith.
Did they take any like?
I'm pretty sure they didn't.
After he healed.
No, they didn't. Well, I remember because Albert Fish, they took X-rays and he had the needle shoved up inside of his taint. That was like 1923, so I imagine they probably had. Yeah, that was when Mom and Tom were on. That was a fun episode. But yeah, no, they didn't say anything. They just kind of left him in there. He had a limp for the rest of his life. He did. He like walked with a limp for the rest of his life. But everyone was, and this is how fucking scared he was. Everyone was still horribly afraid of him. They never even attempted to gang up on him in a group or anything. They always were like, that man is the scariest person in this prison. It didn't matter. It literally didn't matter.
I'd be afraid of him.
Yeah. Well, dude. Oh, straight up. No, he was never. I'm glad I wrote these notes down like this. He was never like not a threat. What? So he was at Sing Sing prison. You ever heard of Sing Sing prison? It's in New York. It's still around. Yeah, it's still here in New York. He was at Sing Sing prison at first, but he was sent to Dannemora because he was seen as incorrigible, which basically means difficult. Because he built, I think, like 3 or 4 time bombs in the prison, and then set them up inside like 4 of the buildings to try to blow them up. But the guards found him before they went off.
I wonder what he made him out of.
He wasn't just an arson. He was straight up was an explosives expert. He was like a brilliant man at making homemade bombs. And he straight up. But the worst part is they didn't. We only found out that Carl did this after it happened because they didn't find out it was him. 2 other guys actually got in trouble for it, and then Carl said the guards like literally beat them until they were unconscious and threw them into the fucking solitary for like over 2 months because they thought it was them. And Carl was like, I never said a word after that. Yeah, so that's like the worst. That's the funniest part.
I'd like to take a fall for it too.
Oh yeah, especially what happened to him. Yeah, they literally beat him until they literally beat him into a small coma and then threw him into solitary.
This is after he broke his legs, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Wait, no. This was after. Yeah, this was after.
So was he?
Oh wait, no. Sorry, this is before. This was at Sing Sing. This is why he got moved from Dannemora.
Okay.
Yeah, he got moved to Dannemora. So Carl was locked this way in his cell for 6 months. They got stuck and got sick of one con in particular who wouldn't stop harassing Carl about being a cripple now. Like I said, there's someone's going like, oh, you're not the big bad dog anymore, are you, Panzram? Like whatever. There's just one guy. So in retaliation, Carl took his time to rest and get strong again. And the second he could walk, he hid behind a wall in the prison's laundry room and waited for the man to arrive for his shift. And when the man walked into the room, Panzram snuck up behind him and bashed the man's skull with a 10-pound wooden club.
Oh my.
It didn't kill the man though. And Carl was dragged back into his cell and severely beaten by the guards. But Carl said the man was never quite the same, and he never even looked at Carl in the eye or even said a word to him for the rest of his time there.
It's like Billy on the Resident Evil thing.
Yeah, no, he didn't just hit him once. He it was like Carl said it was like a miracle the guy didn't die. He said like he was like his skull was just cracked completely. Like the guy was just never the same guy. Carl like fucked him up. And then no one bothered Carl. No one bothered him.
If I was with the prisoners, I'd just like get together and plot a way to fucking kill him.
They don't want a chance. They're all too afraid. Well, can you imagine like Carl just being like, "Who's a cripple now, motherfucker?" Just like, "Who's a fucking cripple now?" And just fucking bashing him with the club. I guarantee that's what he was doing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like, "Oh, who's a fucking cripple?" Yeah, I could see him easily doing that. And then the guards come in there, just fucking beat the hell out of him with like some blackjack fucking stacks, and then fucking drag him back to his cell. So the prison finally hired a new doctor who took a look at Carl's ruptured testicle and removed it from him. But in an experiment to see if he could still get it up, Panzram was caught by the guards attempting to rape one of the inmates in his own hospital bed. Like Carl just climbed in there, not when everyone was asleep. He just climbed in there from his own bed and tried to rape the guy.
Oh my god!
Well, because he was missing a testicle. He was like, I want to see if I can still get hard. That's what he was trying to do.
What did the dude just start screaming?
Yeah, he started screaming for fucking bloody murder. And that's Carl was trying to fucking keep him quiet. And the guards, thank God, heard him and they ran in there and just fucking beat the shit out of him with clubs and drug him out of the hospital infirmary.
He can beat so much. Carl seems like he likes it a little bit.
Carl just likes I think he likes the adrenaline rush he gets from being beaten.
He probably fights back.
Oh yeah. I imagine those guards are very like tired and very like fucking probably beaten up themselves when they're done with him. Because they would go like 10 guards at a time to take care of him, and like they would struggle. They would struggle with him. Yeah, it was bad. So where was I at? Oh yeah, and I don't know why, I want to say, because I did have this, I don't know why I'm in shock that he tried to rape an inmate in the prison hospital. Like, it just seems like such a horrible thing, because the inmate was, like, sick. So I don't know why I'm shocked, because I shouldn't be, because this is exactly how Carl is. I'm just kind of going like, Yeah, I'm just
Preying on
because
the weak.
preying on the weak, preying on the sick guy inmate in the hospital. Yeah, I don't know why I'm shocked. It's just like, come on, Carl. I think that guy might have some other problems. So, after being released from Dannemora, Panzram was arrested only a month later. Only a month later, Carl was arrested for stealing a radio from the home of the town dentist. This is it. Yeah, like I said, he was literally caught crawling out the window with the radio. Like a cop was like walking down the street and saw him like doing that. Yeah, he's an idiot. He could have went out the back door. So he's arrested for stealing the radio of the town. Like he was like the town dentist, and while in custody, he casually told investigators that he had killed and sodomized 3 boys the past month. And he told them where he could find them. The body belonging to one of them was confirmed. That's how we know he did it. That's why I'm kind of going like, yeah, he definitely did everything he was saying, though, because why lie about it? Mm-hmm. It's so horrible. And due to his extensive record that ranged from sodomy to murder and everything else in between, and since he had numerous aliases, Carl was given a 25-year sentence and transported back to Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary. Remember Leavenworth, where the old heifer was? And all the other stuff. Yep. He's back at Leavenworth. So see, like I said, he stole a radio. That's what finally gets him in prison for the last time. That's not what gives him the death sentence like he's about to get. He's going back to Leavenworth. You know, guys, it's reunion time. It's gonna be nice to see everyone again. How's everyone been doing since I've been gone? Still miserable, Carl. Great.
Carl was already gone when that one dude got fired, right?
Yeah, Murphy got fired because of that. Like Panzram escaped, and I think they were kind of like, all right, yeah, Murphy.
Did Panzram know that, or did he come back and was like?
Yeah, I think he probably came.
Murphy?
He probably wondered that at first, but probably wasn't shocked when Murphy, was fired.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't shocked. He's going like, well, he did let me out to go get drunk and with nurses, and I could have shot or killed or raped anybody I wanted at the time, but I didn't. I don't know why, but I didn't. So he's going back to Leavenworth. Carl still had one more murder left in him, though. And he would get that murder on June 20th, 1929, in the form of a dumb con named Robert Warnke. Stupid son of a bitch. Because like I said, word travels fast. Every time he went to a prison, like they knew, like, oh, dude, he fucking beat the shit out of this guy at the last place. Like they constantly, that's how no one fucked with him. That's how he was seen as the fucking pit bull of the prison. Because everyone knew, like, hey, this is what he did this last prison. This is what he did. Stay away from him. Because it builds up the lore and the myth.
Yeah.
And this guy was an idiot. He'd heard all this stuff, but he was a prison. He was one of the what's it called? He was one of the foremen. Like a prison foreman is like a prisoner that the guards give special privileges to. Like extra money in the commissary tab, more food, better privileges to cons like that kind of tell them info and and kind of keep the prisoners in line. So they're kind of like neighborhood police, but like for the prisoners, they're kind of like they keep all the prisoners in line. They help keep them in line.
Like the show 60 Days In.
Yeah, because they can they are prisoners, so they can talk to each other. So that's their job. So this guy was one of those, and Carl hated him. Well, because what happened was he'd made it clear on numerous occasions that he was going to kill the first person that gave him shit, regardless if it was a con or a guard. So it came to no one as no surprise when Carl beat Robert Warnke to death with a crowbar in the prison laundromat. Because he told the warden, he told the guards, he even told other prisoners. He made it very clear, and this dumb asshole decided to call his bluff. He was like, I will kill the first person body. He told everyone there as soon as he set foot in the prison. He told them all. And he made it very clear. This guy just decided to call his bluff. And we all know, if there's one person on this planet who truly did not give a fuck and whose bluff you could not call, it was Carl Panzram. He truly did not give a shit. Literally, you can't call his bluff. Nothing matters to him. So he beat him to death with a crowbar. Just beat him to death. But with this murder, Carl finally got the death penalty, which is ultimately what he wanted, because he was sick of living. He wanted to die. And we may never have heard of any of Panzram's story if it wasn't for one man, a young and kind-hearted prison guard named Henry Lesser. Lesser was new to the prison system, having just become a guard at the age of 25, and he took pity on the man that everyone else called a monster. So it came as a giant shock to Panzram when a guard walked into his cell one day and gave him $1. He just gave him $1. Gave him $1 for his commissary tab. Like, just straight up, it was like Warden Murphy. He just couldn't fathom how someone would just give him money.
How the hell why did this dude feel bad for him to give him money?
was strange. He was kind of like Warden Murphy in a way. He'd known that he'd known that like how horrible it can be in the prisons, and he's kind of going like, this guy, I'm sure he's not really as big of a scary monster as you guys think he is. I think if you show him a little kindness, it goes a long way.
It kind of did.
Well, I hate this. I mean, he was like one of the very few people that Carl never sodomized. He never sodomized Lesser, so.
And the other warden.
Or Murphy. Oh well, I mean, you don't want. I mean, I think Murphy would have just fucking had Carl killed if he sodomized Murphy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Murphy would have just had him fucking shot. But yeah, they just couldn't fathom it. So the two became very good friends, with Lesser giving him cigarettes in exchange for Carl's many worldly stories because he'd been around the world. Lesser then convinced Carl to write down his life story into a series of letters that Lesser would spend the next 40 years trying to find someone to publish them, and it's from those letters that we get the series from. So I've been getting it all of his letters. One thing I did think about when I was writing this is like how many people like this existed that we'll just never hear about. You know what I mean? Like how many Carl Panzrams, like we only know Carl Panzram because he wrote letters. So how many people like him do you think there have been that didn't write anything down that we just don't know about? How many people like this in the fucking past, in the 20th century, in the 16, 17, 1800s that we will never know about because they never got a chance to write their stuff down? It really does make you wonder.
The girl I'm doing is going to be the same. It's going to be the same way until she literally wrote letters too.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It really does make you wonder how many people like this existed that we will just never hear about ever. That died like in the stories and the minds of the people who met them. We'll just never know. He did say that Lesser was his only true friend that he ever had, though. So he would say that too. Like I said, he never attempted to sodomize him. So I think that speaks volumes from coming from Carl. However, all stories eventually come to an end. And on September 5th, 1928, Panzram was hanged. And when Carl was asked if he had any last words, he spat on the hangman and said, quote, "Yes, hurry up, you Hoosier bastard. I could kill a dozen men while you're fucking around." And with that, that's the end of it. And with that, I'd like to read one final quote from Panzram. And this quote, I would think, really captures who Carl was as a person. "In my lifetime, I have murdered 21 human beings. I have committed thousands of burglaries, robberies, larcenies, arsons, and last but not least, I have committed sodomy on over 1,000 male human beings. For all these things, I am not in the least bit sorry." That's Carl Panzram, part 3.
I'm glad to hear he wasn't sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Everything he did, he said, that was one of his final quotes. He told Lesser, he's like, "I'm not the least bit sorry for anything I've ever done."
Except for running.
Except for upsetting Warden Murphy.
Out of all the things he's done.
Everyone keep that in mind. Out of this 3-part series we did, everything he did in this episode, he said the one time he was ever upset was when he let Warden Murphy down. Just keep that in mind. That's what Carl's mindset was. Never felt sorry for a damn thing other than that. The one time. But no, yeah, guys. So that was Carl Panzram part 3. What'd you think?
Glad it's over.
Yeah, I'm very glad it's over. Yeah, just even writing it last night.
Good story though.
It's a great story. I mean, well, it's great. I mean, like it's straight up. It's like his story from like beginning to end. Obviously, like I said, I want people to read the letters. I didn't write everything down here. There's a lot I didn't.
It's just crazy how much you could get away with back then.
He had like 8 different names. He would just grow a mustache, shave his head. I mean, yeah,
been in and out of prisons.
Yeah, been in and out of prisons. It really gives you like a look at how prisons used to be back in the day. Hellholes, horrible hellholes, and how society used to be fucking homeless people, shitty security. You could escape daily, damn near. What was that on? What was it called? That was on Resident Evil. Remember when that guy was like, "This is the easiest prison I've ever escaped from"? Yeah, you were like, "Is that Carl Panzram?" I was just laughing my ass off. But no, yeah, he really is a true villain to the world. I mean, I didn't even get into all the stuff. There's all the stuff I didn't say. He had plans to start a war between us and England. Like literally, he had plans to poison pigs with arsenic and then poison the town's water supply. He had legit plans. They're written down, plans of active terrorism that he wanted to do on a larger scale.
He was going to become a mass murderer.
Yeah, but that was right before he got to Dannemora and crippled, and then he couldn't do any of it. But yeah, he had plans written down. I was looking at it before. He had legit plans of terrorism. Well, because like what happened was with the war between Britain or whatever thing is that there were British boats parked in the harbor where he was at. So he was gonna fucking go over there he was gonna kill an American soldier, wear his uniform, go over there, set fire to the British boats, And then and then he was going to hope someone would see him paddling away in an American soldier uniform, which would hopefully start a war between us. Yeah, they weren't that stupid. It was possible.
He's about to start the First World War.
It was possible. Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think. Yeah. This is before World War I, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like right before, because World War II was until 45, and World War I was Panzer was probably 15 or 20 years old when World War I was happening. Yeah, I'd say so. But no, yeah. Say, what you think?
This is my favorite one yet.
Carl Panzram's been your favorite one yet?
Yeah.
You do like the more action ones,
all
like
the time.
like Albert Johnson. You do like those. Yeah, you do tend to like those more.
There's always something happening.
Oh yeah, I mean I do like to think he would be able to beat Albert Johnson in a fist fight. Probably not in a gunfight
He
though.
definitely would not in a gunfight.
No.
That's by 100%.
That's the thing, dude. All of our guys, they were kind of like tactical. Like Albert Johnson was a very skilled rifle
He's like
marksman.
fucking Rambo.
Very skilled marksman. Carl Panzram is basically the Punisher. But no, yeah, guys. So that's it for Panzram Part 3. Next week, Keith will be reading an episode about a serial killer.
Woman.
Yeah, first female story. We haven't covered one yet. I don't think we've covered anything that's been related to a girl yet. Well, besides the vampires in Mexico. But no, yeah. So next week we'll be back with that, and after that we'll be back to our regular scheduled release. I'll cook something good up for you guys. I have a lot of ideas right up there on that board. I'm going to pick one of them. We are on YouTube. Keith does have us all uploaded now.
Mm-hmm.
All our videos on YouTube at the Skeleton Key YouTube channel.
This week I'll have all the TikToks back up.
This week, yep. This week we're gonna have TikTok spreading too. You can be on the lookout for Panzram Part 3 on YouTube to be up.
I'll probably. You want me to wait to release that until Rex releases the episode, or? I can just release it tonight.
Yeah, you can just go for it if you want to.
Okay.
And yeah, follow us on Instagram, the Skeleton Key Podcast. Follow our Twitter, same thing, and our TikTok. And we will see you guys next week with a kick-ass episode. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Be safe out there, and take it easy. Later.